Now, the U.S. President Donald Trump has pledged to present what he calls a very fair Middle East peace plan by the end of this year. He has even come out and endorsed a two-state solution, something he had not done publicly. He feels confident that Palestinians will return to the negotiating table, but Palestinians have already said the U.S. is no longer going to play the role of a mediator. This is the subject of our next piece.
US President Donald Trump's plan for the Israelis and the Palestinians is in the pipeline and will be unveiled in the coming months. The US President said this week that his son-in-law and senior advisor Jared Kushner is putting the finishing touches to the high-profile plan, which the White House calls the deal of the century.
I think lots of good things are happening. It will take a little time, as you know. It's taken plenty of time, many decades, and nothing's happened, but a lot of good things are happening.
Trump called himself a facilitator and promised that his emerging initiative will be fair.
If there is a righteous, a just, and fair resolution to the conflict, it is a resolution where there is one man, one vote, one country for Jewish people, for Arab, Palestinian, Muslims, Christians, Druze, and everybody else who lives there, just like every other state pretty much in the world.
Given America's recent pro-Israel measures and decisions such as its recognition of Jerusalem al-Quds as Israel's capital, Trump's plan is expected to ignore many basic Palestinian rights. For instance, the US recently signaled that America would not recognize the right of return for millions of Palestinian refugees in any forthcoming initiative. Meanwhile, the administration of US President Donald Trump recently cut all funding to the United Nations Relief and Works Agency for Palestine refugees. The agency provides life-saving support to millions of Palestinian refugees in the occupied territories and several regional countries like Syria and Lebanon. Such hostile actions towards the Palestinians leave little doubt that any American plan will clearly favor the Israeli side.
Now, this so-called deal of the century comes with a lot of ifs. Consider this. The Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu has repeatedly said any future Palestinian state must be demilitarized and Palestinians must recognize Israel as what he calls a Jewish state. Israel has also said it will not give up security control over the west of the Jordan River. But the thing is that Palestinians are unwilling to come to the negotiating table and have clearly stated that they do not want the U.S. as a mediator. The Palestinian foreign minister has said the current American administration has waged an open war against the Palestinian people.
Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas has repeatedly said over the past year that the US cannot play the role of a mediator anymore. Abbas had especially tough words for the US and its close ally Israel during his address to the UN General Assembly on Thursday. The Palestinian president said Jerusalem al-Quds is not up for sale and strongly denounced Israel's new so-called nation-state law as racist. Abbas noted that in the light of the recent developments, all Palestinians view the United States with new eyes. He also called for stronger international support to force Israel into abiding by UN resolutions. Palestinians seem to have become disenchanted with decades of US-led initiatives. Palestinians in the Gaza Strip have been especially outspoken. Over the past months, people there have been holding weekly protests demanding an end to the Israeli occupation and the right of return for Palestinian refugees.
So any settlement which doesn't include the right of return, which is recognized by the United Nations, by the way, of Palestinian refugees to their homeland, which recognizes Palestine as a country in all of Palestine, and the capital of Palestine as Jerusalem, is not a fair deal.
Many observers are now warning that Trump's plan could fuel the flames of Palestinian anger and further destabilize the already volatile region.